Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the next video on SQS. This is the part 2. In last part we discuss and we see how we can create the queue from the Amazon console. In last video we created this SQS YouTube S3 queue, and in this video we will use this queue to push the message in this queue and to read the message from this queue using the .NET Core. The important thing here, first we need to note, that is the URL. I will copy this URL and I will use this URL in my code. Now let's switch to the Visual Studio. So I added one key here with the AWS SQS queue URLs, and I added the queue name, that is the YouTube S3 queue, and then I added the queue URL so that I can read it from the setting file in my code. Yes, just click on the startup class, and like other services of the AWS like Amazon S3 or Amazon Simple Notification Service, we added the services here. But before adding here, we added from SDK for that particular service from the NuGet. We will follow the same. Now click on the tools and look for the manage NuGet package for solutions. Now here search for the AWS SDK dot SQS. Yes, it is here. Select it and install it. It will take some time. It is added successfully. Now move to the starter file, and inside the starter file add that particular service here. Like in last demo we add Amazon S3 and Simple Notifications. Now I will add this new services here, that is SQS. That's all with the starter file. And after it, once it added here, we can get this at runtime using the dependency inject in our controller. I'm using the home controller here. Here I have written this code. Now let me resolve the dependency here. Yes. Now I have taken a local variable, that is the IMagine SQS for this particular controller, and name is SQS client, and I have taken the iConfiguration and iConfiguration section so that I can read that particular key, that is AWS SQS URLs, and from that particular key after that I can get the queue URL, right? So here I am adding the dependency injected runtime for the configuration. Now we will add for IMagine SQS as well. That's all. Now what's going on here? We have one variable with the name SQS client, and we are getting the IMagine SQS client object here. Let's have the same name here for more understanding. Now at runtime our .NET Core framework will insert the dependency inject for this, because we have added this line here. Because of this, it will create the object of IMagine SQS and will keep it inside the container, and at the runtime it will hand over that object to the controller of to the constructor of home controller here, and we will initialize this particular object here. And also we did the same thing with the iConfiguration, and using the configuration we get this section which is AWS SQS URLs, and that is from here. Now to speed up the video, I will copy paste some code so that we can save some time, otherwise video will be very long. Yes, I have copy pasted the code. So now we will walk through this code. What are the classes like send message request, and what is queue URL, and other things like properties which are delay, second, message attribute. We will see all now. So let's first see the send message to Amazon SQS queue. So what is here? So we will take the queue name, then we will take the message which we want to send to that, which we want to push to that particular queue, and we can take some additional information like posted by, who sent this message, or we can have some other additional information here. Here using the config part which we initialized here, that is the I configuration section, we get, using the configuration we get the section, this one, that is the main object, and it has further properties inside it. So we get this section, and we assign this value to the SQS config. Now from this SQS config we will get further queue using the queue name, that is the key name, this one. Using this we will get the URL, and delay second is when we will push to message to particular queue, it will available to the queue after that particular delay second. It will not available immediately inside the queue. So by default it's 0. I will keep here 0 itself, and we have one class, that is the send message request, to send any particular message to the queue, and we can have a object of this queue, and then we can have the properties of it like delay seconds. I am passing here delay seconds. I initialize 0 here, so if I will pass here 0 or not, it will be same, because by default delay seconds is 0. Message with positive delay value become available for processing after the delay period is finished, right? So message will be available once the delay period is passed. Then we have message attributes. This is another you can say that dictionary which take the value as key for the key, and then value of message attributes. This is for additional information, like I am sending here the key is posted by, and the additional information I am sending here, that data type will be the string, and the string value will be the posted by, which I will pass from outside. And then message body is the message, what will be the particular message to the queue. And queue URL, this is one of the more important thing here. I am getting the queue URL here, right? So this queue URL will be unique, and when we will hit this queue URL, means we are passing this queue URL to the queue URL property of send message request, right? So which queue is it? Let's see from the console. See, I copied this queue URL, right? So this queue URL is particular to this queue only. Now we are hitting the send message async. So using this queue URL and other properties, it will hit that particular queue and will push the message inside it, and it will return the response. If the message is successfully inserted inside the queue, it will return the response as 200. Now we can see it by running the application, and then we can hit this particular message. Let's try on it. Application is running. Now our application is running, right? Let's hit the this particular method from the Postman. I have written here like we are going to hit the send message to Amazon SQS, and then this is the queue URL, SQS queue name. Then I'm sending just first message, and this is posted by Sukhraj. Let me put pointer breakpoint there. It's already there. Let's hit this one. Yes. Now we can see what value we received here. We received, yes, message body we received null, and okay, message. I think I need to stop it because I taken both different parameter here. Let me stop and correct it. It's correct. Let's rerun the application. I rerun the application. after correcting this parameter, now let's again hit this one. Yes, now we got message body. What we got the message body here, that is first message. Yes, yes, we got the queue URL from the app setting.json file. Let's press F5 and let's see the response. If all went well, it will return the response. Okay, yes, it's 200. Now let's hit again by changing the message here. Suppose this time message is second message and it is posted by Malik. And let's again post one new message, that will be the third message, so that in one go we can check all. That's it's posted by any name, Singh, JD Singh, Joydeep Singh. Send. Yes, now we will confirm from the console if all the message is pushed to the queue or not. Let's move to the console and click on send and see message. Now we can see that there are 3 messages. Let's pull all the message. See all messages here. Let's open one by one. This is the first message. See, no, sorry, this is the third message, because here it's working on first in first out, that's why this is in queue, and this is the last message in the queue. And see, this is what about the attributes I sent from there, that posted by, that's why it's coming there, posted by, then type is string and value is JD Singh, because I'm passing who posted it, JD Singh. Then we can check for other messages as well. This is posted by Sukhraj, and for the body this is the first message. So now we have the there are 3 messages inside the queue, right? So now we will pull this message from this queue one by one using our .NET Core code, and then once we read the message we will remove that particular message from the queue. How we can do that? Let's stop this application. Okay, I think no need to stop it, we can walk through code easily. So here what I have already written the code here, so we will walk through it. Here we will get the only queue name. Using the queue name we are getting the queue URL, like in the above method we are getting this one. Then we have message list, where we will get all the messages and store one by one if we want to return more than one message in a single go. And to send the message or to put the message inside the queue, we have the send message request, and to read or get the message from the queue we have the receive message request class, right? We will create one object of this, and we will pass the queue URL from which queue we want to read. And this is one of the most important property, that is the max number of messages. It says like I am passing here 1, it means it will read maximum 1 message in one hit. If I will pass 3 here, it will pick 3 messages from there, so it means read 1 message in a single request. Then just initialize this one, just pass the queue URL. If we will not pass this one, by default it will read only 1 message, and hit the method, that is the receive message async. It will receive that particular message or read that particular message inside the queue. Now on which base this will read? It will read that message which is inserted first inside the queue, and then next time it will pick the another message, so it will not pick the third message first. So it's that's why we are calling it queue. Response dot message we are getting if inside the message property, which is type of collection, if there is any message there, then using the for each loop on it, we are getting the one message, I mean message class object one by one, and we are getting the body and hiding that body inside the message list which we initialized here. And yes, we need to make sure while dealing with the coding that once we read the message we must delete that message. Then how we can delete that message? For that we have the delete message request. To that delete message request we need to pass queue URL, and this is the important property, that is the receipt handle. It means in that particular queue which message we want to delete, that we can get from this message object using the message.receipt handle property, and delete message async will delete that particular message. If I am passing here 5, it means we are getting the 5 message in one hit, and then through the loop we will store all the 5 messages here in the message list and we can return it, right? So now we will hit this particular message from the postman, and let's see the output in that case. Now here, this is the method name, this is the name of a particular queue. Let's hit send, and see how many messages are there inside the message class. Only one message is there because we have given one here. And what is the body of that particular message? This is the second message. Instead of reading first message, it read the second message. You know why it read the second message? Because this is not a FIFO queue. This is the standard queue which we created here. This is the standard queue, and in case of standard queue it is possible that our code will pick some other message instead of in like we are getting inside in the queue first in first out. What here the chance is that queue will not be maintained, right? Now we are as we are going with the standard queue, so this is possible. Let's press F5. See here, we got the output, that is the second message, right? So let's again hit it, press F5. This time we got first message. Let's again hit, and we get the third message. Now if you will see at the console, all messages must be deleted from here because we have written the code for this. Let's see. See now, 0 message is available inside YouTube S3 queue, right? So in this way we are working with the queue. We are mostly we are creating the queue using console. Anyway, we can create the queue using the code as well, but in the projects we are creating the queue from console and using that queue URL in our configs like I have used here. Then using that particular queue URL we are hitting that particular queue to push the message there. Like here I am pushing the message to that particular queue using the send message request by passing the important properties message and queue URL. If I will not pass these things, it's fine. These are the two important property, like which message I will push and to which queue I will push, and this is for additional information. Here I can take like another thing like first name or on date message was pushed to that particular queue. To read that particular message we have the receive message request. Again, one important property is queue URL. By default max number of messages is 1, but we can change it as well according to our requirement. And for the delete message request we need the queue URL from which queue and which message we want to delete. So receipt handler is a unique thing to particular message, so it will delete only that particular message. Other methods like delete queue, we can delete the queue by passing the queue URL. If delete queue request, to the delete queue request I will pass the queue URL, like which queue URL I want to delete. In that case it will delete that particular queue from the console, and it will return the message like 200 is deleted successfully. I think 20204. That's all about the SQS. There are some other methods like list all queues, create queue. So I think this is the basic information which we need first, like how we can push the message, how we can read the message. This is mostly used in projects like there is one project where we are uploading files, like I taken the example in last video. Those videos will get uploaded, and after that the path of that videos will be pushed to this queue. Like I have taken the name YouTube queue, right? So we will push that particular path here by passing the message body. Here we will pass that path, so this queue will contain the path of all the videos which are get uploaded. Maybe they have different format videos, but then another service which will read the message from that particular queue. It will read one by one, and after reading, what it will do, it will convert that video to any another particular format and upload to another bucket, and then delete that particular message. There is one more property here which we can define, that is the visibility timeout. So once receive message is picked by one service here, like when I will hit this one, it will pick that particular message, and whatever the visibility time pass out I passed here, I mean while creating the queue, so that message for that particular time this message will not be visible. Suppose I pick here second message, but while creating the queue from the UI console, suppose I pass the visibility timeout 40 seconds. In that case, once the message is picked for the reading, it will not be visible to the another services which are also reading from the same queue. So I think I covered these things in last video. Next video will be on how we can use SNS and SQS queue in combine. Then will be on DynamoDB, and how we can configure the local instance of DynamoDB, how we can put items in the DynamoDB table, then Lambda function with Python, and Lambda function with API gateway, how we can invoke the Lambda function from C#. Everyone, thank you. Please subscribe my channel so that subscribe my channel so that whenever I will upload the video, you can get the notifications, and also provide your suggestion inside the comment box. Thank you everyone.